Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another session on polity and constitution. I hope I'm audible as well as visible. Let's wait for those to join in, then we'll begin our discussion for the day. Audio quality is not good. Maybe my voice is not good. I think the audio quality is good. That can be a challenge. I hope the audio is okay, guys. Video okay? Great then. Okay, so let's begin now. Others can keep on joining. In the previous class, that is yesterday only, of course, we had taken up for discussion the topic anti defection law, ADL. Then we began our discussion on parliamentary committees, various types of committees, standing committee, and also those committees which are set up for a temporary basis called ad hoc committees. Then, amongst standing committees, financial committees like the parliamentary committee, which takes care of, or which rather looks into the expenditures made by the government, the PAC, the Committee on Public Accounts, and then the Estimates Committee, and very important, DRSCs, the departmentally related standing committees. These are all various committees that we have. We saw the functions, membership, all such things, right? Yesterday. Now, today, we'll begin our discussion on the topic states, starting with the discussion on the executive, then moving on to the legislature. If time permits, then we can also delve into understanding local self governance today only. Okay, that is all. Now, let's begin our discussion with our standard 5 questions for the day. I hope you have been revising. I hope you have also been writing answers. Monthly magazine revision going on. Yojana Kurukshetra gist being revised. Okay. If all that has happened, then amazing. Otherwise, catch up quickly. Time is running. And every day we waste, somebody somewhere is putting in all the effort. And when the time comes, when there is genuine competition, it's only correct that somebody who put in more effort should become successful, right? Okay, with that motivation, let's begin our discussion. 5 questions for today, starting with the very first question. Please mark the answer. Okay, madam. Asha, you have to mug up and try to use those points in your answers whenever required. Sonu, the same email. They may take a couple of days, but they'll respond. Don't worry. A lot of you marked two correct. Which two are correct? The first one is not correct. In the question yesterday, amongst all those committees, it had the maximum number of people. But just to give you a simple example, think of DRSC only. How many members does DRSC have? 21 plus 10. Yes or no? Yesterday, in that question, compared to other committees, that was the largest committee. Does not mean that it is the largest committee altogether only. In fact, General Purpose Committee has 46 members, right? By far the largest. So this is sadly wrong. Second one is correct, of course. This is correct. And third one is actually, and this was mentioned right in front of you. This is the membership for DRSCs. Yes or no? Which is 31. This is also wrong. How many are correct? Only one is correct. Right? Should we move on now? Okay. Now the second question. Please mark the answer. Easy question. It's okay, Pranav. Please take care of your health. Take rest. You can watch the recording later on. Don't worry. Okay, a lot of you got this correct. So DRSCs are select committees. Yes or no? What is a select committee? Tell me. Select committees are those committees which have members from one house only. DRSCs have members from both the houses. Not possible. Uh, there's a small. I wanted to mention all of the above, but it became none of the above. And that is why a small typing mistake from my side. We'll have to ignore this question for the day. Rare typing mistakes. Ugh. Anyway, we'll discuss this question. They were made a part of Lok Sabha rules in 1950. This is also wrong actually, because they were made a part of it in 1993. The recommendation of the DRSCs are binding on the government. This is also wrong. It is not binding. Actually, all of the above were wrong, right? But anyway, this is, or we can remove this. That's better. Let's remove this only. So none of the above are correct. Okay. Oh, by chance, some of you have marked the correct answer. Oh, it is not fair, Mehul. Now what do we do? Tell me. Do you want to put me on jail sentence or what for this? Not fair. As if life is fair. Nothing is fair. When UPSC makes a mistake, it's all okay. I can't make a mistake. Okay. Ignore this question. Let's move on. Now, the third question. Solve this. This is okay. I don't see any problem here. Mark the answer, please. Oh, a lot of you got this correct. By mistake or incorrect? How many of you did not see this incorrect? Tell me. Oh, I have seen so many times your name Tarun here. Why? Slow, slow. Plenty of time to read the question. Anyway, start questions. How many days of prior notice? 15 days of prior notice. Yes or no? Oh, Divyanshi, me and still my answer is correct. Then you are doubly wrong, Divyanshi. Right? The questions are chosen on the basis of first come, first serve. Lottery system, we call it draw of lots. Right? Not more than how many questions? 20 questions per day. One member, one question. Not more than 20 questions per day. How many incorrect? Two are incorrect. Okay? Should we move on now? Great. And some of the lucky ones here did not see incorrect, still marked it correctly. Amazing. Fourth question. Mark the answer, please. Prabhat, class has started. You please refresh. Okay. Seems like an easy question, or revisions are going on very well. The office is a statutory office, not a constitutional office. So one is wrong. These two are correct statements. No problem there. So A, 2 and 3 being the right answer. Okay. And the last question, the fifth one, please mark the answer. Pula, sir, LOP mentioned in constitution. You said, sir. Pula, why will I make such a statement that LOP is mentioned in the constitution? In the PPT also I had said this. No, I had written this. Please refer to PPT. Okay. The salaries and allowances of what? The Leader of Opposition Act 1977. Okay, Pula. Amazing, amazing. Great. How many are correct? Only this is correct. Commutation, substitution with a lighter form, changing the nature. This is respite and this is remission. Interchange. Respite means what? Lesser sentence for a small period of time. What is remission? When you reduce the period of punishment without changing the character. So 1 is wrong, 3 is wrong. How many are correct? A. Only 1. Okay. So today there was a small error in one question. So I'm not sure if it is appropriate to show the leaderboard or not. But so yeah, but I got this correct. Great, great, amazing. Let's show the leaderboard. Okay. Abhishek, Jaiswal, Anamika, Simran, and Shreyank getting all 5 correct. Sameer, Lakshmi, Anurag, K. Mahesh, Chandranath, Kumavat, Mehul, R. Deepika, Rahul Pandey, Shubha, Manush, Dheeraj, Shanmugapriya, Shubham, Ramadevi, Prasann, Sushma. A lot of you getting 4 correct. That's a good day for most of you. Great. Oh, you got rank 1. Anamika, great. Congratulations. Though I think today we should skip on the chocolate thing because of one issue. Next time, next time. Tomorrow, the chocolate thing gets activated once again. Anyway, let's now come back to our discussion. Okay, so today we'll be discussing about the states, starting with the state executive. And of course, you know very well, the state executive comprises of what? The governors, the vice governors. Yes or no? Some states also have vice governors. Of course not. Who is saying yes here? No vice governor. There is no concept of vice governor. Okay. So the state executive. Now the union is in part 5. The states part 6. It consists of the governor, the chief minister, the council of ministers, and the advocate general. Okay. Now, uh, part see why I tell these parts is that some part becomes important. You can use this in your answers. Like part 3 is for fundamental rights. Part 4 is for DPSP. So some parts are important. Normally, there is no need to remember the parts, but some parts are important. Bhuvnesh, first class. First class. I had mentioned this. Schedule at the end of constitution. Part is the entire constitution is categorized into various categories based on topic. That's called part. Now, first things first, governors. Now, these are all governors of various states. How is the governor appointed? How is the governor removed? Article 155 talks about appointment. Article 156 talks about removal. So, governor is appointed by the president, governor is removed by the president. Are we clear? What's the criteria? No criteria. What's the ground? No ground. No ground or process mentioned in the constitution. Are we clear? This person is subject to the removal at any point of time, though there is a tenure. Tenure of how many years? 5 years, but still can be removed or transferred anytime. Are we clear? So there is no such set criteria that you cannot transfer or remove the governor. They can be transferred or removed at any point of time, even though we say that they have a fixed tenure of 5 years. It depends on how sincerely the government follows this. We can also have a common governor for two or more states. That's also possible. This was done via the 7th Amendment Act 1956. Clear? And we also have a qualification for the governor. It is mentioned under Article 157. Look at the qualification. You have to have age of 35 years or above, and you should be a citizen of India. That's it. Only two qualifications mentioned in the Constitution. Nothing else is mentioned. Are we clear on this, everybody? Now look at the appointment, look at the removal. Right? Soya, is voting required to remove? What kind of voting? There is no voting. The government removes the person at any point of time. No ground, no process, nothing. The PM says, I don't like this person. I did not get good morning messages from him for the past 2 days. Remove him. Removed. That person is harassing the state government very well. Very good. Continue. Continue. Right? So this is with respect to the governor. Now, despite the fact that it is very clear now that the governors are completely controlled by the center, still in 1979 Supreme Court made this statement. Read the statement that I have mentioned here. This is a statement made by Supreme Court in a very old case called Raghukul Tilak case. Supreme Court in Raghukul Tilak case 1979. What can we say? I mean, Supreme Court says that the governor is the head of the state and holds a high constitutional office, which carries with it important constitutional functions and duties. And he cannot be regarded as an employee or servant of Government of India. Please, guys, take this statement very seriously. The governor is not the employee of central government. Even though you may feel that this is happening, but still, the governor is not the employee of central government. So whenever you see the governors are disrupting the state's activities, they are doing it on their own, is what you should believe, right? Because Supreme Court has said this, so we should believe in all this. But on a very serious note, this is what you have to also mention the answer as well, that the governor's post is an independent constitutional office and should not be seen as subservient to the central government. Clear? Okay. Sir, who is in black suit? Sir, this fellow is a former bureaucrat, R.N. Ravi, governor of Tamil Nadu. Now, to ensure that we create an environment of independence, there have been some recommendations given by certain committees and commissions. Now, what kind of recommendations have been given by which committee and recommendations? Which committee is mentioned here? Firstly, one commission called Sarkaria Commission. It has suggested that governor should be an eminent person in some aspect of life. Walk of life meaning aspect of life, not walking. No, don't think of that. Somebody will ask, sir, where does a governor walk? I'm sure somebody can ask this. In some walk of life, in some aspect of life, he should be an eminent person, a renowned, respectable person. He should be a person from outside the state. So all those who had joined the class on the very first day, you remember we had mentioned this point that the governor should be from outside the state. This is a very important convention that is followed in the country, never ever broken, right? This is also a recommendation from Sarkaria Commission. These four things are recommendations by a commission called Sarkaria. Sarkaria Commission 1983 to 1988. Okay. Now, when it comes to this Sarkaria Commission, it gave the recommendation, and once this recommendation was given, uh, it's hardly followed, frankly. The commission says he should be a detached figure, not too intimately connected with the local politics. Basically, it goes with this only. Why do we always have outsiders? Why do we always have outsiders as governors? So that they remain free from local politics. Clear? If you are from Tamil Nadu and you are a politician there, and you are now posted in, you are made a governor of say Haryana, you have no interest, no knowledge of local politics. So you will be very independent and neutral, right? That's the reason. And lastly, he should be a person who has not taken too great a part in politics generally and particularly in the recent past. So basically, the Sarkari Commission said, Pavitra, that is what I answered right now. That's the exact thing I answered right now. Anyway, so politicians basically, the commission says that you can make the governors, politicians as governors, but whatever the case may be, they should always be slightly away from politics. At least in the recent past, they should be away from politics, right? So that's the reason why it is largely believed that if you make a politician a governor, then they may still have some political capital left in them. They may still try to interfere in local politics. But a person who is non-political or apolitical, if you make them a governor, they will have no interest whatsoever in the local politics, right? This last recommendation was given by Panchi Commission. Panchi Commission, which was formed in 2007, continued till 2010. Okay, so tenure should be fixed, removal only through a procedure. So Panchi Commission said that, see, the tenure must be fixed. We should ideally remove the governor in the same manner as we remove the what? As we remove the president, right? Impeachment, some kind of impeachment process should be followed. That is what will make the governor's post more immune from the control, the clutches of the central government. Otherwise, central government will simply control the governor and ask them, come on, bark. And the governor, I mean, literally, not literally, figuratively, the governor will completely be at the mercy of the central government, and center says, come on, attack, and governor starts attacking. This is what happens actually. Okay. Karthik, but Tamilisai Rajan was a BJP leader. Yes, she was. These are only suggestions, my dear innocent aspirants. Suggestions that should be incorporated. They have not been incorporated. Manam, oh, back with doubts. Okay. He should be a detached figure, meaning the person should be free from any local politics interference, detached from politics, some kind of outsider, a neutral person who has no interest in politics. Okay, detached figure. Are you clear? So yeah, sir, if governor is not a politician, then what type of person can be chosen as governor? IS officers. You'll be surprised to know that in the year 2012, more than half of the governors were retired civil servants, especially IS officers. Today's motivation: study properly, clear the exam, become IS. If you retire, after that also is scope. You can be the governor also, right? The fourth highest in the order of precedence. Clear? This is today's motivation. Okay, let's move on now. Now, conditions of governor's office. Governors should not be MP, MLA, MLC. Okay, that's office of profit violation. They should not hold any other office of profit also, right? And one more thing, their emolument. Now, don't ask me what is emolument. I think you know emolument means salary, money. When you work so hard, you get some money. That is called emolument. And allowances cannot be diminished during their term of office. Let me tell you something. The salary of the governor is mentioned in a law called Governors Emoluments Act of 1982, and this salary and this law is made by parliament. Are we clear? So the salary of the governor is decided by the parliament, and we know very well the salary is mentioned under which schedule. Can you please tell me? Okay, who is writing schedule 3? Schedule 2. Governors also take an oath. This oath to the governor is administered by the Chief Justice of the High Court. And where is the oath of the governor mentioned? Which schedule? How sweet! Not a single correct answer. All wrong answers. Anita, the only person with the correct answer. Schedule 23. Arey. Kavana, now you have changed it, I think. Pranav, okay. Ritesh, now some people are mentioning correct answers. The third schedule contains the oath of ministers, legislators, people who are contesting election, and Supreme Court, High Court judges and the CAG. Right? So, this oath is not mentioned in Schedule 3. It is mentioned under a separate article, just like the oath of president and the oath of vice president. Are we clear? Arey, Bhuvnesh will discuss the powers. Don't worry. Don't worry. Madan, sir, if qualification is only age and nationality, then why they should not be? This is also a condition. That is a qualification. This is a disqualification. Difference. Are we clear? Salary is drawn from state. Why will the center pay you salary? State pays the salary. Okay, that's it. Done. Simon, how much salary of governor? It was mentioned in the class only. While we're discussing the second schedule, 3.5 lakh rupees per month. Dvapayan, sir, now you are saying in 2012 some IS, even now IS officers are governors. But sir, they are holding office of profit. Not a sitting IS officer. Sir, retired. Why will a sitting IS officer become a governor? Retired. Retired. Okay? Yes, yes, salary is charged. 3.5 lakhs. Don't write 2.5 lakhs. Ask if two or more states have one governor, then the salary comes from all the states and it is distributed in the same proportion that the states have with respect to their population. Clear? Okay. Let's move on now. Let's ask you to solve a question. Ashay, what criteria to be followed to become governor of retirement? No, the government chooses you. We don't really know what is the basis because nothing is mentioned. So maybe if you are in the good books of the government, possible. Please mark your answer here. Okay. The emoluments and allowances of the governor shall not be diminished. This is correct. No criminal proceeding shall be instituted against the governor of a state in any court during his term of office. Tell me, is it correct? Which article do I write here? Okay, Article 361. The immunity given to the president and governor, no criminal case, no jail, no arrest, etc. Diminished means reduced. One is also correct. C. Both 1 and 2 are the right answer. Okay. But civil can be not 15 days. That is why AS Hussain, I tell you, revise 2 months prior notice. Revision. Anyway, let's move on now. Now let's discuss the relationship between the governor and the chief minister. Just like the president and the prime minister share a relationship, here also you have Article 74. Do you remember Article 74? I am taking this huge risk. Binding advice. Okay. Just like Article 74, there is an Article 163 at the state level. Now, the article is not exactly the same, but the underlying principle is the same. Just like under Article 74, the Council of Ministers with the Prime Minister at the head will aid and advise the President. Similarly, there shall be a Council of Ministers with the CM at the head to aid and advise the Governor. So, just a way to remember this. Okay, and if you can remember this, then you can simply remember other things like what is Article 75, all those clauses, collective responsibility, pleasure doctrine, Nayak article, all those things. So correspondingly 74 plus 1 is 75, 163 plus 1 is how much? 164. So Article 164 talks about all those things like the governor appoints the chief minister, collective responsibility, pleasure doctrine, Nayak article, salaries, oath, every such thing is mentioned here. Right? Okay. Then what is Article 78? The duty of the PM to furnish information to the president. Manner of election, see Ramadevi, it's Article 54, 55. 78, 74 plus 4, 163 plus 4, 167. Okay, you can simply draw a relationship here. What is Article 72? Can you please tell me? Article 72. Arey, Manam, what are you asking, sir? There is no rule to consult governor. Okay, no rule. 72. Pardoning powers. 74 minus 272. 163 minus 2, 161. Clemency power of the governor. Then one more thing, say 76. What is 76? Attorney General of India. 74 plus 2, 76. 163 plus 2, 165. This will be the Advocate General of India, of the state. Clear? So just if you know this, you'll be able to identify others. Use this here only, not everywhere else in the constitution. Clear? And those who have not understood what the hell is happening here, what is plus minus, ignore it. Mug up everything. Simple. Now, let's come to an important point here. Despite the fact that I mentioned that, uh, we have Article 163, which deals with a very similar kind of concept at the state level. Still, you will find that the governors at the state level, their power is vastly different and they are differently placed when it comes to a comparative analysis with the president. How? Let's read. There shall be a council of ministers with the chief minister at the head to aid and advise the governor. Okay, fair enough. Council of ministers with CM at the head, and they will aid and advise the governor in the exercise of his functions. Now tell me, is it mentioned here that the advice is binding? It is not mentioned. In fact, on the contrary, except insofar, except insofar as he is by or under this constitution required to exercise his functions in his discretion. Forget making it binding. It is not mentioned here, right? In fact, on the contrary, what is mentioned is that a governor can also enjoy discretion. Governor enjoys discretion, meaning he can take some decisions on his own. But the point is, who decides? That's a question. Who decides on what topic a governor can act on his own and on what topic he should take advice? Let's continue. The next clause of the same article. If any question arises, whether any matter is or is not a matter with respect to which the governor is supposed to act in his discretion, the decision of the governor shall be final. Are we clear? Who decides the discretion? The governor himself. Look at the amazing power that he enjoys. Decided by governor only. Are we clear? So there is nothing mentioned in the constitution that the advice is binding on the governor. So the central governments have made a change at the central level, but they have not made a corresponding change at the state level. Because if you make a change at the state level, then your powers are curtailed, because governors are used by center to keep the states in line. So if at any point of time, if you make the power binding on the governor, then how will the governor enjoy the independence? Okay. Now, one more thing. Even though it is not mentioned that this is binding, still Supreme Court on various occasions has said, and we also know Panchi Commission has also said, that it does not mean that the governor will act on his own. Why? We follow a parliamentary system where the head of state is a nominal head of government is a real head, right? See, Rahul says, sir, I am so sorry, but can you please repeat all of it, as I was a little busy? The sense of entitlement. Oh, what can I say? Sorry, Rahul, that may be difficult. I'll just summarize everything very quickly for everybody else also, and including you also. Okay. So, the point is that I just mentioned this point. Let me just come back a bit and say that even though in the entire constitution it is not mentioned that the advice of the ministers is binding on governor, in fact, it goes on to say that there are some discretionary powers that the governor can enjoy on his own. But since we follow a parliamentary setup, it is not to be mentioned. It is implied that you have to always follow the advice of head of government, right? And I think Panchi Commission had also mentioned this point, that the area for the exercise of discretion is very limited. And even in this limited area, his choice of action, the governor's choice of action, should not be, or should not even appear to be, arbitrary or fanciful, right? It must be a choice dictated by reason. It must be a choice activated by good faith and tempered by caution. The idea being that the governors don't really have discretionary powers, and if you are trying to enjoy some power on your own, please do it with proper reason, because that's the whole logic. The people have voted for the MLAs who are choosing a government. They are responsible to the people. Governor is an appointed authority. Okay, that's it. Ashay, why discretion not decided by PM? This is a constitutional provision. It is mentioned here. That is why. Now coming to powers and functions. When it comes to powers and functions, we will not discuss all those powers that the president also enjoys, like the address, the mandatory address, power to summon a session, prorogue a session. All that is exactly the same. We'll discuss those powers that are unique here. For example, this is a unique power called Article 356. I will not explain this here. I'm just mentioning it here. The governor can give a negative report to the president and can say, President, in my state, there is complete breakdown of constitutional machinery. You please impose president's rule. So governor can recommend the imposition of constitutional emergency, which is also popularly called as president's rule or state emergency. Are we clear? When we study emergency powers, we'll discuss all these provisions. Then governors act as chancellors of the state universities. Now, this post of being a chancellor of the state university is not mentioned in the constitution. It is as per the university laws in various states. Laws in various states. So, in your state, if there is any state university, the chancellor is the governor automatically. But please understand that this is not some kind of real power. It is just a formal or a ceremonial position. Clear? Shruti, which college are you from? Tell me. Or are you a school student? No, Kamlesh, the bill was not signed by the governor. States can change this rule. Okay. My school only. Then when you come to college, you will find that in college, somebody like a principal is called a chancellor, right? But he's a governor. In central universities, that's not the case. In state universities only. Bhuvanesh, my state Haryana has 15 universities. Sir, are you also including the central universities? Please exclude them. Clear? Okay. So this is a ceremonial position. In fact, the real executive head is the vice chancellor. It's the VC who runs the university, not the chancellor. Are we clear? That is how it is. Yes, Shruti, absolutely correct. Okay, Sumo, now you realize who was this mysterious person. It's a standard provision across the country. Any state can change this also. It is not that this is mentioned in the constitution. That's it. Ideally, what was expected was that governors are very intellectual and eminent persons, so they should control the universities so that the universities do not become places of politics for the state governments. Pihu, sir, he provide degree to children of university. Yes, in the functions and all, he will come, sit in the Founders Day, etc. He'll come and sit, have free food, watch the dance and cultural programs, and go back home. That's it. Okay. Handing over degree does not give you any power to run the college. Okay. All these investiture ceremonies, convocation ceremonies, all these things. That's the situation where the governor comes to your college. If you are in a state university, not some private university. Okay. Then some other legislative powers. Can you please tell me how many people are appointed or nominated by the president in the Rajya Sabha? 12 people. Similarly, the governor nominates not number but of the total number of members of SLC. What is SLC? Before somebody asks, State Legislative Council. So, of the total number of members in the council, 1/6 members are nominated by the what? Governor from 5 different fields. 5 fields: literature, science, art, social service. These four are common with the Rajya Sabha also. One more field, that is cooperative movement. Okay, Asif, why are you not giving us time to answer? Which question, Asif? And what kind of statement is this? Asif, have you forgotten completely the decorum here? What kind of behavior is this here from some of you? It amazes me how you can write any random statement. Anyway, so the legislative powers, number one, 1/6 members. Now, just to tell you something here, now you will say in Rajya Sabha it's 12 members, number is exact, but in the council it's 1/6 only. It is because the council has different strength. So a council in UP has 100 MLCs, and say in Andhra Pradesh or Telangana has just 50 and 40 MLCs. More on this later on. Now, cooperative movement, meaning people who have contributed to the cooperative setting up of cooperative societies, etc., in the state. More on cooperatives in your social issues and social justice classes. Okay. Then ordinances. Article 213. This is not the power of governor. Okay. Just like the president, this is also the power of the chief minister only. Don't think the governor enjoys all this. No, no, no. Then ordinances. Clear? Before we come to ordinances, let me just explain the passage of bills at the state level. Cooperatives are basically enterprises where people have come together at a grassroots level to start some kind of business activity. More on this when you study your social issues and social justice classes. That's when you'll discuss about the cooperative. So yes, Amul is a very good example. Okay. Now, previous slide. Focus on this slide first. Previous slide. Now, legislative powers. What legislative powers does the governor have in terms of passage of bills? See, number one, absolute veto. Do we know this? Yes or no? Okay. Pocket veto. Do we know this? Yes or no? Who was that fellow? Not giving time to answer. Now type YES. Let's see. Suspensive veto. Do we know this? So, in the case of absolute veto, the bill is rejected. In the case of pocket veto, no decision is taken. And in the case of suspensive veto, a bill is returned for reconsideration. This is something that the president also has. What's so unique? The unique thing is this. Did we see this thing at the level of the president? Tell me. No, we did not. Why? Because this was not there with the president. Under Article 200. Very interesting provision. This has actually been borrowed from Canada. In their constitution, there is one section 55, not important. That's there. Now, what is this referential veto? Think of it. State legislature. What is a state legislature? The state legislature may comprise of the legislature. Guys, one or two people. By Mr. Ashay, just relax. What is the power of governor? What is his real power? Not his real power. I have mentioned in the PPTs. Don't panic. Okay? It's all mentioned here. Discretionary powers, explicit and implicit. So there is no point in writing it everywhere. Stop this spoon feeding habit. You have to be an IAS officer, run the entire district, if at all that ever comes to a situation. Now, state legislature will pass the bill. Yes or no? Pass the bill. This bill goes to the governor. Now, governor can use absolute veto, pocket veto, suspensive veto, or can also sign the bill. All that drama you understand. My point is, governor can also do one thing. There can be a certain situation. What kind of situation I'll discuss shortly. Here, examples are mentioned here. We'll come to it shortly. But if there is a certain type of bill, then the governor can send this bill or can reserve the bill for the consideration of the president. Are we clear? Can reserve the bill for the consideration of the president. Reserve for president's consideration. Now, this bill goes to the president. Now, please understand, very important, the moment the governor reserves a bill that this bill is beyond my power, president, you decide. The governor's role comes to an end. After this, on the bill, that is, governor's role ends. Now, the bill is between the president and the state legislature. President and the state legislature. Governor has no role to play. Clear? Now, the president gets the bill. He sees the bill and says, "Oh, states, please make a change." The president again can use veto powers, can take no action also, can send back the bill also. Sends back for reconsideration. That state government, please check. I don't like this provision. Okay? Now, when the state legislature gets this bill back from president, then the state legislature has 6 months of time to respond. Must respond within 6 months. Two things: either you make a change or you don't make a change. If you don't respond, the bill is over, dead. If you respond, you have to send the bill back. If passed again. Now tell me, if the same situation happened at the central level, if the same situation happened at the central level, that the president has sent back a bill to the parliament and the parliament passes the bill again, should the president sign it? Mandatory? Of course. It is binding on the. Who is writing 1978 amendment? Not 1970. That is for Council of Ministers. When the bill comes back at the central level, the president had to sign it. But at the state level, it is not required. May or may not give assent. Are we clear on this? The state legislature cannot give binding orders to the president. That's not possible. The parliament can, the state legislature cannot. Are we clear? Everybody, no doubt. Okay. Now, one small point. When I am mentioning this word president here, who is sending back the bill in case of presidential reference veto, who is actually sending back the bill? The president or the central government? Tell me. It is actually the central government here. Unlike the case of veto power of the president, the veto power of president is only with respect to the parliament. Here, this is the power of central government. Are we clear? Please don't be confused. COM's advice. Clear? The veto power that the president has with respect to the parliament is his own veto power. But the veto power that the president has with respect to the state legislature is exercised on the advice of Council of Ministers. Are we clear? Everybody now? Guys, I'm requesting you, please, don't use Article 74 for veto power. I think there's a very big misconception here. Article 74 is different. Veto power is different. Article 74 is with respect to government orders, executive orders, because Article 74 makes the advice of government binding on the president. Veto power is with respect to the parliament passing of bills only. Please do not use Article 74. Don't think that the president has to sign because of Article 74. Are we clear? Those are two different things. Article 74 is with respect to the ministers. The veto power is with respect to parliament. Clear? Okay. Now, one point here I'm trying to look at this here also. See, referential veto. The president can give his assent, withhold his assent, return the bill. It is not obligatory for the president to give his assent even if the bill is again passed by the state legislature and again sent to him for reconsideration. When the bill comes again, there is absolutely no need for the president to sign. Here, you can say that the president can use suspensive and pocket veto at the same time. Can be done. No problem. Okay? Clear on this? Pranav, can president send back the bill for reconsideration? Yes, he can here. But once it is sent again, then no. President, when it comes to a money bill, when it comes to money bill, the same old story. In case somebody made me this concern, despite explaining so many times, tell me, when a money bill comes to the president, what kind of veto can he enjoy? Tell me. Don't say no veto, yaar. Come on. What does the Constitution say? Constitution says that suspensive veto cannot be used. Yes or no? This means that pocket veto can be used. Absolute veto can be used. Now, the logic is that since this particular bill has been brought with his prior recommendation only, why will he use pocket veto? But my question is, can he? Yes, he can. What can he not use? Suspensive veto. Other vetoes can be used. He will not use it, that is secondary, but they can be used. Okay. Now, one more thing. Guys, let me just clarify one thing here. I think I saw two questions, one from Bhuvnesh and other from, I think, somebody, Abhishek maybe. And I let me just clarify here once again that I mentioned this point here that the governors, nowhere is it mentioned that the advice is binding, right? But this does not mean that the governor acts on his own. Because if the governor starts acting on his own, then the CM will go and file a case in the court, which the CMs have done in the past. And the courts have always, 100% times, have always said the same thing. It's a parliamentary setup. The head of government is the real head. Governor, please follow the advice. Simple. Are we clear? This will always be the case. It does not really matter whether it is mentioned in the constitution or not. Supreme Court has the power to interpret the constitution in any form or manner they want to. So please don't have this misconception that the governors suddenly start enjoying random powers. Are we clear? Okay. Now, the point I was trying to make here was that governor reserves the bill. This is his own choice. Own choice. But the point is, when will the governor reserve the bill? What can be a what can be the content of the bill which forces the governor to reserve for the center? There are certain conditions. This is mandatory. Constitutional obligation. So let me tell you, if at any point of time, the state government or the state legislature tries to, please hear me out. Please hear me out. Stop asking questions right now. Focus. If at any point of time the state assembly tries to pass a bill which abrogates, takes away, reduces, lessens the powers of state high court in any form or manner. Let's say the state high court has a power to transfer district court judges, and the state assembly passes a bill that from tomorrow onwards the CM has the power to transfer district court judges. This is a classic example where you are trying to pass a bill which is trying to take away the powers of high court. In this situation, governor must reserve the bill for center. Governor must reserve the bill for the president. All these cases, these are optional cases. Discretion of governor. So basically what we want is that the state government should not try to pass any kind of bill which hampers country's interest. A bill which is ultra vires the constitution. What's the meaning of ultra vires? Ultra vires refers to outside the scope of, or beyond the scope of. It's the opposite of intra vires. Intra vires means within the scope of. Like if you ask me a question on geography, I respond by saying this question is ultra wires the discussion in the class, beyond the scope of our discussion, because we are discussing polity. Clear? Ultra wires. Or if the bill is opposed to DPSP. Now, what is DPSP? Some of you would not know. It's okay, ignore it. We'll study it later on. Or if the bill is against the large interest of the country, if the bill is of grave national importance. Now, some will say, sir, who decides this? I have mentioned here, the governor decides. The governor will decide whether the bill is affecting the country's interest or not, whether the bill is outside the scope of the constitution or not unconstitutional, outside the scope. That's what I said. If you ask me a question, let's say on fundamental rights right now, I will say it is ultra wires today's discussion. Your question is okay, but this is not the right time to ask that question. Clear? So who decides all these things? Governor decides. Full discretion. Governor can keep on reserving every bill for center. Are we clear? And lastly, dealing with compulsory acquisition of property. So if at any point of time the state government tries to pass a bill which takes away people's property, that bill also can be reserved for the center. Governor's full discretion. Clear? Everyone now? Now can I ask a simple question? In the very first class, we were discussing about lists. Remember? Which schedule? Adnan, last point we'll discuss under fundamental rights. Don't worry. Which schedule? Schedule 7. Okay. Very good. Who is writing schedule 1? Schedule 7. Okay. Fair enough. Very good. Very smart. Genius. Amazing. Hats off to all of you. My second question. On the list number 3, that is concurrent list. On concurrent list subjects, both center and states have the power to make laws. Yes or no? But center has overriding power. Meaning, if there's a conflict between center and states, if there's a conflict between center and states, then who has overriding power? Center has overriding power. We all agree. Very good, amazing, great. Can there be a situation that there is a law made by center on a union list subject, on a concurrent list subject? There is a law made by center on the concurrent list subject, and the state government or the state legislature tries to make a law on that same subject which violates the central law, and the law made by state exists also. Is that possible? Tell me. So those who are saying no, you will come to know of a new information today. Yes, it is possible. It is possible because it is mentioned in the constitution. One very, very important point. I'll firstly explain to you an example of how this thing can happen. So, in one state, Tamil Nadu, firstly, there is an examination in our country which is conducted, which is called NEET examination, NEET, right? Conducted by NTA, the National Testing Agency. 180 questions are asked. You have questions from NCRTs primarily, physics, chemistry, biology, all these papers. Questions are asked. MCQ, NEET examination. Tamil Nadu government said, we don't want this NEET examination in our state. So basically, NEET examination is the exam which is there to select kids for medical colleges to become doctor. Okay. Now, coming to this point, this anti-NEET bill was brought in the Tamil Nadu assembly. Now, whether this bill was right or wrong, that is up to you to decide. We can't discuss on the merit of the bill. Though, if you ask me, I'll just tell you that Tamil Nadu government formed a committee called AK Rajan Committee in 2021, Justice AK Rajan Committee. That committee actually said that NEET is a wrong examination. So, committee said that NEET exam is heavily biased in the favor of physics, chemistry, and biology instead of being open to testing all possible knowledge. If you are selecting people for medical colleges, the exam should be based on physics, chemistry, biology. What kind of logic is this of state government? We don't understand. Anyway, the AK Rajan committee also said that it is against social justice because it favors rich students who can take the advantage of coaching, which poor cannot afford. See, the poor people or any person in the Tamil Nadu government also, in Tamil Nadu also, if you take a state board examinations, everybody is getting coaching now, right? You have an exam and we will be there to provide coaching. As simple as that. What is this nonsense? Anyway, in fact, the committee report also said that eliminating NEET will ensure social justice and protect all the vulnerable people of Tamil Nadu. I'm not sure what they're trying to say. Anyway, it was a great report, amazing kind of report with no base of what was the concern. Anyway, this bill was passed by the state legislature. It was sent to the governor. Now, there is a provision, Article 254. This article says that if the state government tries to make a law on a concurrent list topic which is repugnant, meaning opposed to a central government law on the same topic, the law can still continue if if the president gives consent, meaning the central government allows. So, governor may reserve bills passed by state legislature on concurrent list topics repugnant to central laws, repugnant, opposed to central laws, and such laws can continue if president gives the consent. Are we clear, everyone? Now, of course, the governor may reserve the bill. It's not mandatory, but ideally, if any such bill has come which is violating a central law, the governor should either reject the bill, use pocket veto, or send it to the center. So, in the case of the I'll repeat. Don't worry. Don't panic. I just saw somebody's text, so somebody's message here on some background noise. Okay. So as I said, Tamil Nadu government passed a bill called Anti-NEET Bill. This bill directly violated a central government law on topic technical education, which is a concurrent list subject. but the governor should have reserved the bill for the center. And if the center says, okay, Tamil Nadu, you are free, have your own examination, then this anti need bill can also continue to exist. Now the problem here was that the governor did not reserve the bill for the center but actually used suspensive veto. He sent it back to the state legislature. Now there's a problem, because once you use suspensive veto, the bill goes back to the state government and they pass it again, the legislature, then you have to sign it. And this is exactly what happened. The bill was passed back by the assembly. Now the governor has to sign, but he cannot sign because this bill requires the center's approval. So now the governor sent it to the center. This is what the Tamil Nadu chief minister did not like. He now rightfully R.N. Ravi is a former bureaucrat. He should have known all this. He must have studied all this, but possibly 30 years back he must have forgotten. Who remembers the constitution 30 years later? He must have forgotten. But yes, his behavior was not right. But then also, what is inappropriate is that the CM of Tamil Nadu, Mr. Stalin, MK Stalin, he was very aggressive and he made a very abhorrent kind of remark. He said that the governor is refusing to do a simple postman's job is unbecoming of the post he holds. Now see, nothing against postmen, but don't call governor postman. He is not here to act as a postman between you and the central government. And Mr. CM should also understand that the governor is at a very higher precedence, higher than him in the order of precedence. So please don't make such kind of statement against the governor. Anyway, the bill was sent to the center. Central government has sought from the state government what is the problem with NEET. You tell us properly. State government has said that we have responded. The matter is still pending with the center. Let's see what the center says. The bill is yet to be passed. Okay. Are we clear on this? Everybody. No doubt now? Okay. Sir, but poor is suffering. We have to think about poor for social justice. Yes, yes, sir. Don't be emotional. It's okay, sir. Great. Repeat point 3. Pihu. Which point 3? Return the bill. Shubha, governor can combine 2 veto. No, he cannot. Governor also cannot combine 2 vetoes. This is not a veto power of governor. This is a separate power. And this is a power of central government. What is there to repeat? The governor can, this is the referential veto, Baba. Referential veto can return the bill for reconsideration. Yes, if it is passed, central law in Tamil Nadu will not work and Tamil Nadu's anti-need bill will work. Simple. Yes, yes, Hussain, no problem. Okay, are we done now with this? If we are done with this, then I can proceed and help you understand. Soumya, why can you not return a money bill? Because money bills are not returned in general, right? You can either accept it or reject it. Don't sign it, can't return it. Simple. Okay. Now coming to ordinances, I think we have seen ordinances. I hope you remember ordinances, right? In fact, all the cases we saw in DC Vadva or Krishna Kumar Singh were cases with respect to state government only, not the center. Those are all governors' ordinances issued by state governments like Bihar. So ordinances are mentioned under Article 213, 213, and they are promulgated by the governor when either house is not in session. When either house is not in session. Now, just answer yes or no. The limit of legislative powers of state is also a limit on the executive power of state? Tell me. Yes or no? Okay. I'll rephrase this question. Whatever state legislature cannot do, the state government also cannot do. Yes or no? So all those who are saying no, please give me an example of what the state legislature cannot do, but state government can do. Give me an example. Let's see. I would love to know. Give me an example of what the state government can do, which is not there for state legislature to do. Not their executive powers, the limit of the power. Both the state government and the state legislature are limited by the same provisions. Yes or no? It is exactly the same. Don't give me the exact functions to perform. I am talking about the legislative limit and the executive limit. Clear? This means what? If the state government, if the state legislature cannot make a law on a union list topic, can the state government make an ordinance on union list topic? Tell me. Okay, great. Yes, who is saying yes? No, they cannot. So, if the state legislature passes a bill, passes a bill which which is somewhat like this, which abrogates from the power of state high court, then we know very well what's the requirement. The governor should reserve the bill for the center. So, if the state government tries to promulgate an ordinance like this, should the governor sign the ordinance or should he send it to the president? Tell me. President, of course. Because we know very well that the state legislature has no power. How can the state government have the power? That's the exact same thing I'm trying to express here. Following ordinances cannot be promulgated without the president's instruction. If the governor would have deemed it necessary to reserve a bill for the consideration, which article are we referring to here? This is Article 200 type situation. Yes or no? If the same case was there for the bill, governor should have reserved it. If the state government tries to bring an ordinance, sorry, the governor, you have to still reserve the ordinance for the center. Number one. Number two, if the Tamil Nadu Assembly passed the anti-NEET bill, now in this case, the governor has to reserve the bill for the center. Yes or no? Article 254. My question to you is, if the Tamil Nadu government tries to promulgate anti-NEET ordinance, what should the governor do? Tell me. If the Tamil Nadu government tries to give an anti-NEET ordinance, should the governor sign the ordinance? Of course not. How can you sign the ordinance? It is not within the power of state to violate the central law without center's permission. Right? So, a similar act of legislature, that means Article 254 type situation. A similar act of legislature would have required president's consent to be held valid. Example, anti-NEET bill what if there is some kind of anti-NEET ordinance? It is not there. I'm just mentioning it here. Are we clear? Everyone now? Is this okay? So these are some of the limitations on ordinances. And first one, if a bill otherwise requires previous sanction of president. So you don't know this, but the example is budget during financial emergency. So when we study financial emergency, you'll understand that during financial emergency, the center can ask the state governments, don't dare to pass the budget, show it to me first. How dare you pass the budget? So that is an exceptional situation which we'll study later on. Clear? So these three are the limitations, 1, 2 and 3. Very, very simple, easy to understand, easy to comprehend. You can see the video again and again to understand this point. Let's move on now. So a question was asked in 2022, last year. Now let me just clarify a very important point for all of you. Discuss the essential conditions for exercise of the what kind of power? Legislative powers by the governor. Now, if any innocent aspirant feels, oh, legislative power, summoning session, proroguing session, mandatory address, please, that is not the legislative power. In the constitution, there is only one legislative power of the president or the governor. And what is that power? That is very clearly mentioned. The only legislative power is ordinance. That's it. So please stick to writing about ordinance only. Don't write other nonsense. Okay? So please write the essential conditions, everything mentioned here, etc. You know the the recess thing, the 6-week reassembly. We know everything. Then discuss the legality of re-promulgation of ordinances by the governor without placing them before the legislature. Clear? So, what about re-promulgation? You can quote the DC Vadva judgment. You can quote the KK Singh judgment. And in the conclusion, don't forget to give suggestions. Clear? Suggestions. Okay. Somebody had mentioned something I forgot. RJGSH. What your name is, sir? We have mentioned this part. Remember, while we were discussing the topic precedent, I had mentioned that even though we discuss and categorize these powers as executive, legislative, etc., the constitution does not categorize such kind of powers. Do you by any chance remember this? If not, please go and watch the videos on the chapter precedent. You'll be surprised and amazed and shocked that we have covered all that. Now, what kind of suggestions? Again, you would not be asking me this question if you had revised the chapter precedent and the ordinances. On that KK Singh's judgment slide only, I had mentioned on one side suggestions. Please incorporate those suggestions here. Are we clear? Everybody? Okay. Let's hope the day comes when you actually write the answers and I get to see how much score you are getting. Okay. Let's move on now to some judicial power. Oh, before that, one small question. Answer yes or no, 10 seconds time. A for yes, B for no. The judges of High Court are appointed by the governor. A for yes, B for no. Judges of High Court are appointed by governor. How sweet. Some of you not revising at to hell with revision. I had clearly mentioned while we're discussing those parts with the president that the judges of Supreme Court and High Courts are appointed by the president only. He is just consulted by the president while appointing the judges of the state high courts. Clear? Guys, don't disappoint me like this. Earlier also, that schedule 3 thing, that was complete nonsense. That governor's oath in schedule 3. And now this. Revise, please. Okay. Now, who does a governor actually appoint? He makes appointments, postings, and promotions of district court judges. But even that is not his own power. It is done on the advice of state high court. Are we clear? Okay. Pooja, high court judges appointed by president, removed by governor. Pooja, don't make all these statements. Please. It is wrong. High court judges are removed by the parliament, not by the governor. Okay? We'll discuss that later on. Now comes a very important point, clemency power. Clemency power of the president is under Article 72. Article 72. Clemency power of governor will be under which article? Tell me. We know very well 74 means 163. So this will be Article 161. Okay. Two things. My first question. Armed forces. Who is the supreme commander of armed forces? Who is the supreme commander of armed forces? President. Armed forces comes under which list? What do you think? State list or union list? Union list. So, of course, if there is any kind of punishment given by military, court martial. What is court martial? Military court. If the military court gives any kind of punishment, then the president has a power of clemency. Center, not the state. He cannot use his clemency powers with respect to WRT, with respect to punishment or sentence by court martial. If military court gives any kind of punishment, then the president. What is court martial? Military court. It is not like a regular court. The court where only armed forces personnel are tried. We cannot go to the court for our cases. It is meant for armed forces only. People who are employed in the armed forces. Gurcharan, who appoints the judges of district courts? Why are you asking this question? We saw this right now. The governor appoints, posts, promotes, transfers the district court judges. Governor, sir, please pay attention. Second point is that governors cannot pardon a death sentence. They can commute it, can't pardon it. Can commute it, but they are not allowed to pardon a death sentence. So we actually wanted this power to be there only at the central level so that it is not misused by the states, and hence the pardoning power of death sentence has been taken away. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. I can't understand point one. Dhanya. For that, you have to know what is pardon also. Sadly. What is pardon, Dhanya? Please write. What is pardon? Did we understand this? Governors cannot pardon a death sentence. Meaning, when you pardon somebody, you remove all the punishment. The person is free to go. That is called pardon. Absolved of all the guilt. That's called pardon. Completely free. That can't be done. The president can do it. Governor cannot. What can the governor do? Governor can commute your death sentence. Somebody did ask this. Devyani, what does commute mean? Amazing, amazing. Great. Commutation means changing the nature of punishment, the character of punishment. So, if you are given death sentence, the governor can say, okay, death sentence now change to lifetime jail. That's possible. But death sentence can never be pardoned by the governor. Are we clear? Everybody? Yes, clemency powers are very normal. They are used on a regular basis, nothing unique. Thousands of cases. But I wanted to discuss something else here, which is beyond this scope actually. Uh, okay, time is up. Let's take a break. So after the break, I'll actually explain a very important point here. The point is of Bilkis Bano case. Do you remember the Bilkis Bano case? In the Bilkis Bano case, that was in with respect to Gujarat. What was the case all about? See, in the case of Bilkis Bano, just 2 3 minutes. What happened was that as far as the situation goes, now I will not get into the details of how the riot started and stuff. That is for you to search and study. Basically, some people who were Kar Sevaks were returning back from Ayodhya, and the Sabarmati Express train was set on fire. Okay, Kar Sevaks died, pilgrims died who were coming back from Ayodhya. In response, the other community started rioting and people started fighting. Okay, so in this case, on 20th of February 2002, Bilkis Banu fled her village, Radhikpur. It's in Dahod district, with small kid, with her small kid and around 14, 15 other people. Now, a few days later, she was attacked by a mob, and only 3 people survived. Okay, only 3 people survived, of which she also was a survivor. And they, of course, raped her. The child was killed. All these things happened, right? We know very well that if left on their own, human beings are uh, prone to extreme violence. Anyway, uh, when the NHRC, Supreme Court, CBI, everybody is very active in this case, then it was found that the courts there, they could come under the influence of the state administration. So the Supreme Court asked that please move the case to Bombay High Court. It was moved because Bilkis Bano was receiving threat also. Anyway, these people were given life sentences, which was upheld by the Bombay High Court also. And Bilkis Bano was given the compensation of 50 lakh rupees. But one of the convicts approached the Bombay High Court seeking remission in 2013. Another convict approached the uh, Gujarat High Court seeking remission. Now, Gujarat High Court said, you please go to Maharashtra government. Bombay High Court said, go to Gujarat government. So these people went to Supreme Court. That who should we go to? Supreme Court last year said, you please go to Gujarat government because that is a point of punishment of the commitment of crime. Anyway, so they approached the Gujarat government. Hear my words, government, not governor, government, and filed for a remission. So far, you have only seen Article 72 and Article 161 because these are constitutional provisions which give clemency power to the president and governor. But there is also a provision, and that provision in our country is with respect to the state government and the central government, which can give clemency power. Are we clear on this? So, what is this clemency power given by the shown by the state government? Under CRPC, the Code of Civil Procedure 1973. I'll just finish this topic in 2 more minutes, guys, and we'll take a break. Under CRPC, there is one section 432, which says that remission can be allowed by government, central or state government. But there is a small point. Now, what is remission? For those who do not remember it, remission means reducing the period of punishment, the tenure of punishment. That's called remission. So these people were given life imprisonment. That means jailed for life till the natural end of your life. But there is a limitation on the remission power of the government. And what is that? The same law, section 433A says if punishment is life imprisonment, meaning you are jailed for life, remission can't be shown before 14 years. Did you understand this point? If somebody is given 10 years of life imprisonment, then the state government can show remission and can say punishment reduced to 1 day, go enjoy. But if you have been given life imprisonment jail, then the punishment cannot become less than 14 years. You have to serve at least 14 years in jail if you are trying the state government's remission. If you go to governor or president, there is no such limitation. Are we clear? If you go to president or governor, they have no such limitation. They can show remission for 1 day also. But the state government cannot show remission to less than 14 years. Clear? Now think of this. These culprits were given life imprisonment in 2008. This means they became ready for remission after 14 years in the year 2022. Last year, they filed for remission. The state government accepted because 14 years was over, and that's it. Done. It was approved, and they were all out on uh, from the prison, free to go. Clear? Now, why was the remission accepted and all? That is beyond the purview of the class to discuss. Now, whether there was some religious reason involved or any other thing, we cannot discuss this here. See, uh, there is a rule which was given by Supreme Court in the year 2000 only, Lakshman Naskar case not important, that remission should only be shown for acts which do not affect the society. And remission should only be shown if there is no chance for the prisoner to repeat this offense. And it should only be shown if the convict has no potential left in him to commit the crime. It should only be shown if there is no purpose being served by keeping him in the prison. And it should only be shown if the socio-economic conditions of the convict's family is very deplorable, very poor. We don't really know whether these things fit the bill or not, but sadly, the state government did show remission without even consulting the central government. They should have consulted the central government, and the committee which gave recommendation to show the remission, it comprised of some BJP MLAs also, right? So BJP MLAs were also a part of this particular committee, uh, which gave it a political no color as well. And then I would not like to point out how the when these prisoners came out, some of the leading politicians who are ministers right now and who have studied in foreign universities, those politicians were garlanding these convicts as if they have come out after some great achievement. They are a shame to the humanity. Whether you are a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian does not really matter, right? This was a crime committed against a human being, a woman, and it's a shame. Whatever religion committed the crime. But sadly, that's what our country has become completely, right? Anyway, that is all as far as the case is concerned. Remission can reduce the tenure. That is why, for life imprisonment, their tenure was reduced to 14 years only. From life, it became 14 years. That's it. Adnan, anywhere between 45 to 50% marks. Vaishnavi, these topics are not really required for the exam also. If this pace seems to be too much, we'll have to catch up because the expectation is that you are a willing participant here, right? So you'll have to see the recordings again to make notes of it. Otherwise, UPSC syllabus will go until 5 6 years. If you have a plan to sit for 5 years, feel free. There are recordings available. This is going to be it in the class, right? We can't slow down the pace for one individual. That's not possible. I'm already very slow in teaching. This can't be slower. Sorry. Don't make unreasonable remarks. Yes, the matter with Supreme Court. And yes, that is why one point which you were making was some of you had made when I taught this topic in the precedent that the life imprisonment is 14 years. Why 14? Because of this law only. That normally after 14 is in jail, the state government shows remission and they say go out. Come on. Because they also have to keep on emptying the prison population. That's also a reason. Yes, Palak, that's also possible. Tarun, she has already gone to Supreme Court. Yes, Gurcharan, if the Supreme Court give punishment to person, can President pardon it? Yes, of course. Uh, Kumari, now let's this. No, no, no. It is there in the new BNS also, not repealed. Anyway, that is all. Let's take a break now. Be back at Haji Sandeep. What's your concern? Let's see. Guys, it's break now. Come back at 7:15. Haji Sandeep, you are giving the same fees. What's your doubt? Let's see. Tell me, Sandeep. Since you are paying the exact same fees as other students. Gurcharan, yaar, come on. What are you asking? If Supreme Court give punishment to a person, can the president pardon it? We have discussed everything under Article 72. Yes, of course the president can pardon it. Ruchita, that's not possible. Two veto powers, never together. Yes, Sandeep, that can be challenged. Okay, fees recovered. Let's take a break now. Come back at 7:15. Okay, let's continue, guys. President. Oh, answer. Praveen, every amendment that I have mentioned in the class is important. Every amendment, right? It can be asked. So I have made mention of very limited amendments, and all of them are important. Okay. They can, but Basu, the point here is that when the cases are extremely highlighted in the media, the convicts also know what the decision is going to be at the hands of the governor or the president, right? Anyway, let's move on now. Now, we are actually done with the topic governor. Yes, Prem Kumar, he can ask for mercy any number of times. Suddenly, we are getting a surge in mercy petition questions, but we have discussed all this under the chapter precedent. Sir, can a Supreme Court verdict of life imprisonment be demonized or diminished by state legislature? There is no such provision. Yes, Pranav, governor can pardon Supreme Court sentence also. No problem there. Raja, that is largely the same home department, equivalent ministry here. Whoever controls the home department or whoever controls the jails. Gujarat government remission policy of 1992. That's of no concern here. Okay. Yes, Rajan, that can be done. Dwapayan, ask. Yes, she. Why do you ask this question? Center can interrupt in state list. You tell me, can it do it? You know at least one way to do it. Can the center make laws on state list subject? Class. Yes. No? Who is saying no? Yes, it can. Article 249. It can do it. Can a state list subject be transferred outside state list into the union list? Yes, it can. Amending the constitution. Yes, by Rajya Sabha. Don't make all these statements. Revise properly. Article 368 with half the states in agreement. Okay. Now coming to somebody was asking something. Wouldn't the IAS officers of Gujarat interfere in Bilkis Banu's case? Who is an IAS officer? What part does he have to interfere in all? And why would somebody interfere in such a highly politicized issue? Right? So it's nice that you think so highly of the IAS officers. I would hope that you become one who can take on the might of such issues. But there's a small challenge. While you are in the office, you cannot raise any kind of voice against the government only because you are a part of government. It's like, sometimes Arvind Kejriwal sits on dharna himself. So that is a limitation on the civil servant. That since you are a part of the government, how can you strike against your own government? So that's not the case. AS Hussain, it won't be asked. Don't worry. Ashay, I wish to become the governor. Great, amazing Ashay. Very good. Let your wish be fulfilled if you put in the right effort. Okay. Now the governors in some states are given some special responsibilities also, which they need to fulfill. Some special responsibilities in certain states. For example, if you go to Maharashtra and Gujarat, in Maharashtra, areas of Vidarbh, area of Marathwada, in Gujarat, Saurashtra, Kutch, in these areas, as per Article 371, the governor can create or establish a development board. This development board can focus specifically on the development of Vidarbh and Marathwada in Maharashtra and for Saurashtra and Kutch areas in Gujarat. Okay. Then we have Article 371A. When it comes to when it comes to Nagaland, governor gets to control law and order in the state insofar as internal disturbance is there in the Naga Hills or the Tunsang areas. Okay. Uh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, why these areas only, Dheeraj? Because these areas have faced lot of economic backwardness in the past. That is why. Now, Schedule 6 areas. So, what are Schedule 6 areas? We'll discuss maybe next week. Right? So, Schedule 6 areas, Assam, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Tripura. Governor has special powers in all these areas with respect to administration and other things. Okay. Then Article 371C, Manipur. So, with respect to Manipur, regarding the administration of the hill areas in Manipur, governor has been given additional responsibility. Clear? Haryana is not under any schedule 5 or 6. Don't worry. Then Sikkim 371F. In Sikkim, the governor can make rules for ensuring peace and for social and economic advancement of different sections of population. 371H, Arunachal Pradesh. With respect to law and order in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, governor has been given special responsibility. 371J, the Kalyan Karnataka region, the northeastern part of Karnataka, which is the Hyderabad Karnataka region, which is inside Karnataka. In that area, because this area has been facing a lot of economic disparity, so special development board can be set up and the governor has to take care of that so that this area also does not start lagging behind in terms of development compared to other areas. Okay. And lastly, from 2014 to 2024, governor of Telangana has been given the power to control the what? City of Hyderabad with respect to law and order and the allocation of government buildings between Andhra Pradesh government and the Telangana government. Clear? Madam, it's okay. Calm down. Don't be angry. What is past is past. It's okay. Nutikadi, that's no relationship. These are constitutional provisions. Okay? With respect to certain states only. My advice would be mug up these articles. It is important. Governor's role is important. Special responsibility is important. It is extremely likely that a question on these can be asked in the examination. Are we clear? Okay. Now, constitutional provision of governors. Now we'll discuss the discretionary power of governor. Discretion. Explicit power. What is explicit? Explicit means something which is clearly and categorically mentioned is called explicit. Okay. So explicit, which is mentioned clearly. Implicit is the exact opposite. Implicit means in the implied sense, inherently available, not directly mentioned. Explicit, something which is stated or mentioned directly. Implicit, which is inherently there, though it is not mentioned anywhere. Are we clear? Okay. So, like, your mother's love is very explicit. Your father's love is very implicit. They both love you, but fathers would not really show their love so much like the mothers. I hope this example is understood. And if somebody is not getting love from both the parents, better study hard to get their love. I can't solve your problem there. Okay. Now, coming to the powers which are clearly mentioned in the Constitution, one is referential veto and all other veto powers. Right? Then this is Article 239. I'll explain this when we study union territories. But as of now, let me just help you understand. See, think of this situation. Let's take the example of a state called Punjab and the UT called Chandigarh. I hope all of you have at least studied till class 10th and you know that Chandigarh is a union territory. Now in Punjab, we have elections and we have a government. So the governor of Punjab, Banwari Lal Purohit, while he acts as the governor of Punjab, he has to follow the advice of what? Council of Ministers of Punjab. But if the same governor is made the administrator of Chandigarh, UTs don't have governors, they have administrators. If he is made the governor of administrator of Chandigarh, then same person acts independently because there is no government only in Chandigarh. Whose advice will he follow? Clear? So this is the example pertaining to this. While exercising his functions as the administrator of a neighboring union territory. Who controls union territory? What is the word mentioned? Union territory. A territory of the union directly controlled by union. Okay. Now, then we also have the special responsibility with respect to various states. Please mug up the articles. If a question is asked on the discretionary power of governor, you'll be found wanting if you don't mention all these things. Then Article 167, duty of the CM to furnish information to the what? To the governor. Clear? Then there are some implied powers. Sending a negative, adverse means a negative report. Selecting CM in the hung assembly. Please tell me, innocent aspirants, what is hung assembly? When no party has majority, it's called a hung assembly. Clear? No party has majority. Then dismissal of the Council of Ministers when it cannot prove the confidence of the State Legislative Assembly. and dissolving the assembly if the Council of Ministers has lost its majority. In all these circumstances, implied that the governor may have powers. It is not mentioned anywhere, but we know that he has powers. It's just like the president. He also has the powers. Nothing unique here. We are done with the topic governor. Please solve this question. Very, very difficult question asked in 2019. I'll give 30 seconds only to mark the answer. Okay, which one of the following suggested that the governor should be an eminent person from outside the state, should be a detached figure without intense political links, should not have taken part in politics in the recent past? Sarkaria Commission, chaired by former Supreme Court Judge Justice Ranjit Singh Sarkaria. Okay, done. Now, Council of Ministers. Excuse me. Done. We have already studied the Council of Ministers. It's the same old story. Nothing unique, nothing special here. What we have discussed earlier, everything is applicable here. For example, we have the same, just like Article 75, we have Article 64, appointment of CM and the Council of Ministers by the governor. Here also, Council of Ministers are responsible to what? The state legislative assembly. Here also we have the pleasure doctrine. Here also Nayak article. Everything is there. And please tell me, maximum number of Council of Ministers can be how much? Tell me. 15%. What is this quorum and all? Who is writing quorum and all? 15% of the total membership in the state legislative assembly. Now, please tell me, at the central level, what is the minimum number of council of ministers? Minimum number of council of ministers at the central level. Tell me. Kavana, Dudekula, Prasanna, Akash. Only few people with correct answer. Karthik. There is nothing mentioned in the constitution. I'm not sure how you're writing all these numbers: 7, 15, 1/3, 12, 2/3. How? From where did you find all these numbers? At the central level, nothing is mentioned. Nothing. But at the state level, we need to have how many ministers at least? 12 ministers. Are we clear? At the state level, 12 minimum. Maximum depends on the number of people in the assembly. Okay. And this was also done through which Amendment Act? The 91st Amendment Act 2003. Simple. The position of the chief minister is analogous, similar to the position of the prime minister and the council of ministers at the center. Similar position. Now tell me, should we have a finance minister? As per the constitution, is it mentioned? Oh, yes. Where is it mentioned? Nothing is mentioned on any minister. So please tell me, where are where are all these ministers mentioned? Allocation of business rules. Okay, somebody is writing RPA, somebody is writing Lok Sabha rules. Allocation of business rules. We had studied all this. What is this? What are we doing? Every day coming to the class without any revision, writing whatever I feel like. How will you clear the UPSC examination? I'm not sure why your parents are not scolding you for not studying at all. Anyway, so the ministries and the minister's name and the task they'll perform is mentioned in the Government of India Allocation of Business Rules 1961. So there is no constitutional mandate to have a finance minister, home minister, etc. But at the state level, in 4 states, it is mentioned under Article 164. It's a constitutional provision that some states need to have a tribal welfare minister. Which states? Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh. These states must have tribal welfare minister. Okay. Bhuvnesh, why Haryana? Always aggressive about Haryana. Sir, these areas have high tribal population, right? That is why. Please, some logic. This is an extreme sense of state consciousness. We want to become a part of all India services. Okay. Why not Northeast? Because in Northeast we have different provisions only. Schedule 6 areas. We'll come to that. Gurcharan has now woken up from slumber and sleep because the match was postponed. So now he has come and says, why is governor appointed outside the state? So I wasted 15-20 minutes in discussing that. So of course, too important to hear that conversation. Governors are appointed from outside the state so that they are outsiders who have no interest in local politics. They don't come into any kind of they don't create any kind of conflict in the local politics. They have no interest. They don't obstruct or impede the functioning of the local politicians because they have no interest there. That is why. Okay. Now coming to Advocate General. Advocate General, just like the Attorney General, he is the highest law officer of the state. Please tell me, who appoints the Advocate General? Governor. Yes or no? Of course, the governor will appoint the Advocate General, just like the Attorney General is appointed by the Prime Minister. Okay. Secondly, what is the qualification to be the Attorney General of India? Is there any qualification mentioned in the Constitution? What is the qualification to be the Attorney General of India as per Constitution? Some of you are mentioning it, others. We wish there was some God to help you out with your revision. Same as Attorney General, Supreme Court Judge. So, Advocate General, same as High Court Judge. Are we clear? Whoever has a what kind of answers am I seeing right now? Sometimes it's hilarious. So, somebody who is fit to be a Supreme Court judge can become the Attorney General, and somebody who is fit to be a High Court judge can be the Advocate General. Are we clear? Attorney General is appointed by the President, Center. Of course, on the advice of Prime Minister only, but President. You said just now by Prime Minister, did I? Attorney Attorney General is appointed by the President. The point is that the center appoints him. The PM, Council of Ministers appoint him. Similarly, the Advocate General is appointed by the Governor, meaning the CM appoints him, but officially the appointment by the Governor. Okay. My bad if I said Prime Minister. Okay. It is because I am completely depressed seeing your answers. That's actually a reality. Anyway, let's move on now and discuss the state legislature. Just waiting for a moment at the faculty. Oh, some slip has happened. Oh, some mistake has happened. Real school kids. I mean, I was under the impression that we have more mature lot here. Oh God, hilarious. These are the amazing things that no keep me going. Great. Now, coming back to the state legislatures. See, remember Article 79? What is Article 79? Article 79 says what? The parliament is organized with which three people or organs? Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, as well as the what? President. No, Sandeep, Advocate General will not come from some other state. Advocate General is a government's lawyer appointed by the local government there, the state government. Why will he be an outsider? The CM wants his person to be the lawyer for him. Why will he call an outsider to be a lawyer? He can be an outsider also. There is no such convention. Okay, let's move on now. Similarly, the state legislature is also organized along the exact same line, meaning the state legislature comprises of what? Number one, governor. Number two, in every state we have what? The assembly, and in only 6 states we have the councils, which is the Vidhan Parishad Legislative Council. Now, some of you have been asking right from day one, full of aggression, why in my state no council is there? Who is stopping you? Create a council. It is very easy. Two-step process. So all those people who want to create council in their own state, or those people who want to abolish the council in your state, I am telling you what to do. You can do nothing, but your state government can do it. So, in your respective state legislative assembly, in the assembly, a proposal, a resolution has to be passed, a substantive motion has to be passed, a resolution has to be passed with a special majority, which is what? More than 50% of the total membership, and also two-third members present and voting. Okay. Once this special majority is achieved, the proposal is sent to the parliament. In the parliament, the resolution has to be approved by a simple majority. Simple. More than 50% of the people present and voting. Once this is done, the state government can simply issue what? A notification to create a council. That's it. Okay. This is the legislative council. Somebody is asking me, Tarun, sir, what is this AP? Extremely sorry, guys, that I wrote AP here. Google search for it, Tarun. You'll get to know AP does not mean Arunachal Pradesh, it means Andhra Pradesh. Okay. So various states have toyed with the idea of these councils. For example, Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh has constantly been creating a council, abolishing a council, creating a council, abolishing a council. For example, in 1958, they created. After few years, they said, sorry, don't like it. They abolished. After few years, they said, oh, sorry, by mistake, we abolished. Again created. This has been happening. Clear? Anyway, any state can create a council, right? Any state can create a council. Any state which has a council can abolish a council also. No problem. This process needs to be followed. Simple. Now, some of you may ask, what is the advantage of this council? What is the special power of this council? These are the advantages. Reasons for creating a legislative council. Why would any state want to create a council? Why? Yes, Pavitra. I was coming to that. Why you, some people who attend multiple batches still ask the same question. Maybe their doubts are never addressed. Only God can address those doubts. Mere human beings have no power. Okay, so reasons for creating a council. What's the reason? Reason number one, just like the Raj Sabha keeps a check on the passage of bills. What is the purpose of Raj Sabha? Raj Sabha's purpose is to keep a check, because Lok Sabha, remember, is the house of corrections, passion. Raj Sabha is the house of correction. Here also, the legislative assembly, which comprises of what? Which comprises of all those people who are directly voted by the people of the state, citizens, right? They'll pass bills in a hurry. So the council can act as a barrier, help check hasty legislations, hasty, in a hurry, jaldbazi. Clear? in a hurry. Then non-elected people, these people are not directly elected by the voters. They can also contribute to the legislative process. Sometimes some intellectual people may not be able to win the election. Same goes for Rajya Sabha also, right? See, the idea is very, very clear. In general, people, in general, people will not appreciate class. Why? Because they don't have the understanding to appreciate class. So, mass appeal is what helps you win the election. So, somebody who is highly intellectual cannot go down that same path of politics, may never be able to win the election. So, how do we incorporate them also in the legislature and get their point of view also on bills, etc.? So, non elected people, they can also contribute to the legislative process, passage of bills. Now, they also provide valuable suggestions. Of course, it's like the other house. Your task is to discuss on those bills and provide valuable suggestions. And lastly, it's the representation of special interests. Don't panic, I'll discuss it shortly. Graduates, teachers, and local bodies. How this has come, I'll discuss it. Just give me some time, I'll discuss it. Now, we will discuss in detail how our members chosen. Just relax. Don't waste time in typing the question. Why will I not discuss that topic? Please focus on the topic being taught. Uh, but sadly, the councils don't have the same kind of powers that the Rajya Sabha has with respect to the states, the assemblies. Councils actually can never prevent a legislation. They can only delay a legislation, and that too maximum 4 months. I'll explain this also. In short, councils simply have no power to prevent the passage of a bill. There is no concept of joint sitting in the state legislatures. In fact, what we have seen is that in most cases, somebody who could not win the election, right, loses the election, but is a very senior person in the party. What do? We tell him, okay, wait, don't cry. You want a post of politician, free salary, allowances, bodyguards? Send him to council membership. Park, place, put leaders who are not able to win election. Since we could not win election on our own, we had to be placed somewhere, like you park your car, the leader has been parked there. Why? Because this leader belongs to, he's a very senior leader. What to do? His father used to be a very important politician, etc. He has given a lot of money for the party. Make him member of council. That's what it has come down to now. So people say that it just strains the state's finances. Straining the state's finances. Additional burden without any contribution, without any kind of contribution. They just strain the state's finances. Are we clear, everybody? So, actually, councils in their current form are of no use. Okay? Now, let's look at the composition first of the Lok Sabha, and then of the assembly, and then the council. So first up, the legislative assembly. Now, as far as this is concerned, Legislative Assembly is mentioned under Article 170, its composition. So please follow properly. There are various states with various sizes, various densities of population. So of course, we cannot have same number of MLAs in all the states. Now, the maximum number of MLAs any state can have is 500 plus one Anglo-Indian nomination by governor. This provision has expired. It is no longer there. If I write expired, you will say, sir, member has expired. That is why I had to write in full. Provision has expired. Terror in my mind. Okay. So maximum 500 people, minimum 60. So every state, however small you may be, you have to have 60 MLAs. Now, let me just clarify. In the constitution only, there is an exception given. Some states, because they are so small, they can have less than 60. Exceptions mentioned in the constitution. For example, Nagaland. Nagaland, as per Article 371, capital A. Articles are not important here. Don't go crazy. Can have 46 MLAs also. It has 60 right now. It can have 46 also. Or Sikkim 371F. Sikkim can have 30 also. It has 32, can have 30 also. Or in the case of Mizoram, 371G. 371G. It can have 40 also. Arunachal 371H. It can have 30 also, as low as 30. And Goa, though currently Goa has 40, but it can have 30 also, which is 371 capital I. Are we clear? Yes, Pooja. Now, coming to some very basic features. Point number one, voting age is the same, 18. You have to be a citizen, right? Beyond that, one very important point that you should understand is that when it comes to the elections here, elections are direct in the assembly. We follow FPTP. Please, now don't tell me what is FPTP. You can, you have full right. First past the post. Okay. Besides this, we also have the qualification age, 25 years. To contest. Okay. Here also we have reservation for, this is for scheduled caste, and this peach color, let's use pink. scheduled tribes. Pink will not be visible. Scheduled tribes. So this is with respect to a scheduled tribe seat and scheduled caste seat. Are we clear on this? Everybody. So this is an example of Karnataka. The entire state of Karnataka is divided into small boundaries, territorial boundaries, which are called constituencies. Are we clear? Now, two things, please remember. Number of constituencies based on which population? 1971 census. Absolutely correct. Very good. Same old people giving all the answers. Others only asking questions. When I ask questions, silence is there. Anyway, second thing, which is important. See, take this example. Let us say this is a boundary of a constituency. Okay. Now, from this constituency, lot of people have moved here. So, the population here has come down. So, we can change the boundary and we can make the new boundary like this also to cover more area. The new boundary. Are we clear? So, without changing the number of seats, boundaries can be changed. So, the internal territorial boundaries have been adjusted on the basis of 2001 census. Internal territorial boundary based on 2001 census. Are we clear on this? Everybody. So we have reservation of scheduled caste. Some seats are reserved for scheduled caste. Some seats are reserved for scheduled tribe. Please tell me who decides how many seats will be reserved for scheduled caste, how many for scheduled tribes? Who decides this? Delimitation Commission. Delimitation Commission has two tasks to perform. Firstly, adjusting the boundaries, and number two, deciding on SC/ST reservation. The same provision at the center only. Okay? Are we clear? Everybody? No doubt. RJSGH, whatever your name is, we cannot have a new constituency. It is not your choice. It has been fixed at 1971 census through a constitutional amendment. The parliament has to amend the constitution to create more constituencies. Simple. It's not in your hand. Okay? Garima, which census? Or in 1971 census here. I can say nothing actually of knowledge. Sir, but president also doing some this kind of work? No, Divyanshi. President is not doing any kind of work. Sorry. So just to Bhuvnesh, it's not 2003 census. Actually, this 2001 census change was made through the 87th Amendment Act in the year 2003. Clear? Okay. Basu, sir, you told you will tell about 243K. Yes, Basu, I will when the time comes under panchayats and municipalities. Let the time come first. So, this is the constituency of Lok Sabha. Look at this. Compare this and compare the constituency of a Vidhan Sabha. So small. Yes or no? Okay. Now, one more thing. Do you remember I had mentioned this point earlier that how many MPs are there given to your state? How many MPs have been allocated to your state? That is mentioned in the what? Where is that mentioned? In the Lok Sabha. How many MPs are there in your state in the Lok Sabha? Is mentioned where? Not a single correct. Susmita, only one correct answer. Incomplete or incorrect? Incomplete or incorrect? Number of MLAs in each state is mentioned under Schedule 2 of RPA. Which RPA? Some of you are very smart, not writing the year because you won't remember only. 1950. Not 51. Don't write 51. Now at least write 50. Okay, so number of MPs is mentioned in Schedule 1, MLAs in Schedule 2. Are you clear? Okay. Let's move on now. Now coming to the composition of councils. So, firstly, how many MLCs can be there in any state? This criteria is Article 170. So it depends as nearly as possible between these two numbers only. So it will be minimum 40, but maximum 1/3 of the total strength of the assembly. That is why, for example, 6 states, which 6 states have councils? Starting with Andhra Pradesh, not Arunachal. Andhra Pradesh. It has 50. Then second state in the alphabetical order would be Bihar, has 75. Then you have Karnataka, 75. Maharashtra, 78. No need to remember all this. Then Telangana, 40. UP, 100. Okay. In fact, this minimum used to be earlier, maximum used to be earlier 1/4. Changed via the 7th Amendment Act 1956. Are you clear so far? See, guys, one more question. I think S. Das Gupta has asked this question that if, let's say, Sikkim tomorrow has creates a council, then how much will it have? Minimum has to be 40. So you cannot breach the 40 limit. Okay, even if your one third comes below 40, you cannot breach the 40 limit. So 40 has to be there. Are we clear on this? 40 here means the number of members in the legislative council. Are we clear? Oh, 171. Now, please pay attention to something I try to explain to you to the best of my ability. How are these members chosen? I'll have to take an example of a state. I'll take the example of Karnataka. Karnataka total MLCs is how much? 75. Now, what happens here is that these MLCs, some of them are chosen by somebody else, some are chosen by somebody else, some are chosen by somebody else, etc. Okay. So, hey guys, 40 is the number of seats. Oh, 5 times the same thing. Now, who are these somebody? Dheeraj, don't act over smart. Pay attention. One third MLCs. One third MLCs. They are elected by MLAs. Out of 75, what's the number here then? 25. Okay. As far as possible. It can't be exact. Don't say, sir, how to calculate one third of 100. As far as possible. Then, second point. One third MLCs, they are elected by local body members. Local body members meaning members of panchayats and municipalities. Okay. Then 1/12 of the MLCs, as far as possible, same story, they are elected by graduates. Okay. And 1/12 MLCs are elected by teachers. So what these two I think are easy to understand. Elected people vote. These two can be a challenge. So think of it. This is the state of Karnataka. Imagine this is Karnataka. This entire state is divided into 7 different parts. Seven parts. Because this 1/12 is 7 and this is also 7. Okay. So this state is divided into 7 parts or 7 constituencies. So what happens now? All the people of this area, all the people of this area who are graduates for the past 3 years, they will vote and choose the person who contests, or from the people who contest, one MLC to choose one MLC. It's not that the MLC must be a graduate. He cannot be a graduate also. That's okay. Please open your ears. Hear me out. MLC may or may not be a graduate, but people here who are allowed to vote must be graduates for the last 3 years. So you have to go and get yourself registered with the ECI office that I am a graduate living in this area. Please put my please put my case or please put my name in the voter list. For example, in the case of Karnataka, the constituencies are very simply named. They are named like Karnataka South, Karnataka West, Karnataka Northeast, etc. Clear? So once your name is there in the voter list, you can simply go, same voter ID card, go there, cast your vote. They'll match your name with the name there, done. Over. Are we clear? So all the people of this area will choose one member, one MLC. All these people, one MLC. All these people, one MLC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 MLCs are chosen by graduates. The exact same thing is done for the teacher also. Now what will happen is, all the teachers of this area, teachers, same area, they will also vote. All teachers vote to choose one MLC. So from that same area, we'll have two MLCs. One MLC chosen by graduates, one MLC chosen by teachers. Are we clear now? Everybody? Okay. These two votes are given differently, and when you are going to choose 1/12 by elected by graduates, but who are graduates for at least 3 years. 1/12, same 1/12 elected by teachers, but they should be teachers for 3 years and should be teachers not in the primary, above the primary, secondary and above. So 1 1/12 here, 1/12 here. Similarly, 1/3 here, 1/3 here. Nearly. It's not accurate. The constitution says nearly. So please don't say it has to be accurate. Nearly. And the remaining 1/6 people are nominated by the governor. Are we clear? The remaining 1/6 which is left, they are nominated by governor. In this case, it will be 11. Are we clear? Everybody now? Is there still some doubt? So I'll repeat once again. 1/3 of the members are chosen by all the MLAs of the state. So MLAs have their representation. 1/3 of the members are chosen by local body members in the state. 1/12 are chosen from this area, one MLC, by graduates from the same area, because the constituency is the same area, but this time only teachers will vote and they will choose somebody else who will represent the interest of teachers. So teachers' interests are represented through their members. Graduates' interest is represented through their members. Local body, panchayats, municipalities, their interests are represented through their members. Look at this now. Representation of special interest, of graduates, of teachers, of local bodies. Are we okay now? Yes, yes. Every such constituency, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it will have two MLCs. One chosen by teacher, one chosen by graduates. You can be a part of both. Are we clear? Haji Soya, what is the problem now? If there's still a problem, I think the better thing would be to read the video again. Don't say, I don't understand, members. Please tell me exactly what's the concern. How do I know? What is your problem? Tell me what the exact concern. If anybody has a question, please ask me what's the exact concern. See, I'll explain this point again. I'm not sure if this could be explained better than this. Trust me on this. It's not my arrogance telling, but it's a reality. When it comes to any state like, say, Karnataka, the entire state of Karnataka is now divided into 7 different parts. Like in the case of MLAs, the entire state of Karnataka was divided into 224 parts, constituencies. This time, there are 7 constituencies. I am telling you the names also of the constituencies. One is called Karnataka South, other is called Karnataka West, Karnataka North, Karnataka Northeast, Karnataka or Bangalore, etc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Constituency number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and number 7. Okay? Now, you are living in this area of the state. You are living in this area of the state. This is an area in the state. I hope you understand this. So if you are living in this area of the state, you go to the election commission and say, I want to register myself as a voter. I'm a graduate. See my graduation certificate. It's 3 years old. Please add my name. They create a separate voter list which contains names of only graduate people. Right? Now, when the election comes for this area, you will be given the announcement just like your Lok Sabha election, Vidhan Sabha election. So you can go and see the list of all the people who are contesting, cast your vote in favor of anybody, and just like you, there are other graduates living in this area. You all will collectively vote and choose somebody who becomes an MLC. Are we clear? Second thing, people of the same area. We also have teachers here. Let's say somebody is a school teacher. He or she says that election commission, I'm a teacher working in secondary school. See, for the past 3 years I'm working. Add my name. There is a separate voter list which only has names of teachers. When the time comes, all the teachers of the same area, they will also vote and they will choose one person who will become MLC. The MLC in yellow comes from the same constituency, but he or she represents the interest of teachers. MLC in green comes from the same constituency, but he or she represents the interest of graduates of the area. Yes, Kumar. Yes, Anurag, different. Soyab, you are asking who will they vote for? Whoever is contesting election. I can contest, you can contest, right? whoever is of the age 30 or above who contests election, when you go to the cast your vote, you will find a list of people who are contesting, right? For them. Yes, Palak. Pili, why only 7? Because 1/12 of 75 is almost 7. Rajan, that is through proportional representation. Anushka, how do you know which constituency you belong to? You go to Election Commission's office, you get information from them. Simple. Yes, Neha, yes. Lakshmi, that was mentioned as per the constitution originally to ensure that people who are intellectuals, right, of the area, they also get a chance to have their say in the legislature. Yes, Kumari, it's the delimitation commission which decides. Yes, Soyab, anybody can contest. Somebody who has lost the elections can contest. What kind of question is this? Anybody can contest elections. If you meet the qualification criteria, you can contest the election. Guys, if you still can't understand it, don't worry, this won't be asked in the examination. As simple as that. Ignore it. What about remaining votes? What remaining votes? What votes remain? Just 4 or 5 people completely oblivious of what is happening. I'm not sure if you're even paying attention to what I'm saying. Somebody just asked a question. Are teachers? Yes, yes. If you get registered, you can vote separately also. Are we clear? Okay, guys, if still there is some doubt, it would be more appropriate to see the video and then kindly, if still you can't understand, ignore it. Guys, teachers who are graduates, if they want to get registered, they can vote again. Am I clear now? Everybody? All these teachers are also Indian citizens. They vote in the Lok Sabha also. They vote in the Vidhan Sabha also. Yes or no? YEA, I don't know what kind of calculation you have given. 25, 25, 50, 57 plus 7, 64 plus 11, 75. I'm not, this is the first time I've ever seen at least, I think, 8, 10 people who have so much of complication. Trust me on this. At least hundreds of batches. I have never seen this happening ever. Anyway, still I'm telling you, it's okay. Don't worry. The point is that if you don't understand this, UPSC has never and will never ever ask a question on explaining the process of the elections to the councils. That's it. If you want, mug up this particular table. 1/3 by local bodies, 1/3 by assembly members, 1/12 here, 1/12 here. That's it. Okay, done. Now, I'll mention the task quickly. PPTs, please revise. There was a PYQ to solve, previous year question. Yojana Kurukshetra gist must continue. Political theory revision, I hope, is going on. Apart from this, don't skip the editorial. Apart from this, people preparing for 2024, please follow the monthly magazine. Okay. Pili, sir, what if my constituency is not in out of How is it possible, Pili? The entire state is divided into 7 areas. No area is missed out. How is it possible? Do you even think before you ask this question? Anyway, guys, let me show the leaderboard also, though there's some issue with this. But Abhishek and Simran Kaur, toppers for the day. And then we have Anurag, K. Mahesh, P. Chandranath, Deepika, Anamika, Dheeraj, Shreyank, Sushma, and then we have N. Lakshmi, Pallavi, Jiva, Basanti, Shiva, Lakshmi, Purna, Kumawat, Kumari, Ritu, Aditya. I never see these people asking any kind of question. What is the concern here? Okay. No worries, guys. Great, 50. Better. Great. Of course, improvement will happen slowly and steadily. Palak, the same thing. That Advocate General, acha, uh, advising or holding a brief, meaning giving any suggestion to any corporate, any company, etc. And when he is called upon to give advice to government of India, in response to that, he will not hold a correspondingly separate brief of his own, telling people against what he has told the government. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Let's meet tomorrow. Sir, Dvaipayan, pension is not dependent on the government. It's your right. You will get your pension. Are we clear? It is not subject to the duties you perform. Pension is something that you get in lieu of the services you have already performed. It is not deemed to be under the monetary benefit given by the government. Are we clear? Okay. That's it for me today, guys. We'll meet tomorrow. Till then, that is all for this video. Jai Hind.